Welcome back to Sideline Thoughts. I'm John Greenstein here with David Reyes. Unfortunately, Gio wasn't able to make it with us this time. He's feeling a little ill. So he'll be back most likely next week, but it's just going to be the two of us today.
What
And
a
we're starting.
pleasure.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm sick too, but I'm pushing
You're
through
still
it.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. I got like flu like symptoms. And, but yeah, I haven't ate in like 2 days. I just eaten crackers and like yogurt. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about football for the most part, which, David, your Chargers, man, their defense looked great last night for the first time in a while. Like, they banged up the Jets. Like, the Jets' offensive line looked anemic.
I'm
Like,
surprised that they won. Last week I had them losing this game.
same.
I guess I should say that they're gonna lose every game, so they'll win every single remaining game of the
I guess
season.
you have to hope they lose to have them win. You have to have the reverse psychology here. So that way you cannot jinx them to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they're not gonna make the Super Bowl.
No, I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
You never know now. I said they're not going to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Okay. But anyways, they won the Monday Night Football game 27-6. Chargers are now 4-4 in the season. Um, this game looked a bit better than the previous game against
They what's it called? I
oh my
think
god, I forgot.
it wasn't a good team they lost to, I remember.
Chicago.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Chicago
they
Bears, yeah.
didn't lose to them, but they played like shit still.
Yeah, but this one looked a bit better. They scored 14 points in the first quarter, 3 points in the second, none in the third quarter, but at least 10 in the fourth, compared to the other game against Chicago where they didn't score a single touchdown in the second
Yeah,
half.
they ran the ball a lot more this game with Eckler. It seemed like that worked a
Yeah.
lot, which is surprising because the Jets have a good defense and they gave up that many points.
hmm Did you see that catch by Keenan Allen?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Mhm.
You weren't expecting that.
No. But it's a good one for the Chargers. But
They play the
still, that
Lions this week. That's going to be a
yeah,
tough matchup.
yeah.
I have the Lions winning this week.
I'm gonna say the Lions too.
Yeah, but I think
But
the Lions will actually win this one.
we'll see. Just one thing. But sure, there's still the Charger fan base. All the Charger fans, they still want Coach Stanley out, no matter
Of
what.
course, get that fool out of there. I don't know who's going to replace him now that I don't know. Maybe hire Lovey Smith, the Bears' former coach. You know who that is?
No, I should remember.
He's not a good coach, but I just think it would be funny. He coached the Texans when they were like 2-16 or 2-15, whatever. But he's a defensive mind like Staley, but he's a better defensive mind. Like he actually
Brandon Staley
approaches
was
the
a
defense
defensive
better.
mind, but look how things
Didn't
are
work
going.
except for last night. Obviously, that was like the one showing they actually showed up at. But do you have any more thoughts on your Chargers, man, before we move on to the next topic?
There's not really much, John, to say. This team, as always mentioned, they're unpredictable. Um, we'll see against the Detroit Lions. It'll actually be an actual test for them.
I think it's going to be a nail biter like every game for
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
It's going to be like 28 to like 24. The score is going to
yeah.
be.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. So this is the Chargers of the past 3 years. So
But I think it's in LA this game, so
yes,
should
it'll be home.
it should help, but not really. You
We
never
play the
know.
Lions this upcoming week. The Packers after that. The Ravens. That's gonna be a tough one.
They should
Um,
win the next two games, or not next
yeah,
2 games. I mean the Packers game. They have somewhat a tough schedule because they have to play the Chiefs at the end of the year, but they got the Raiders again. I think a couple more times, right? They haven't
yeah.
played them yet, so I mean that helps, I guess. I think the Chargers will squeak in at the 7th seed this year. That's my
hmm
guess. But I think the top three contenders moving on, like to the best teams in the AFC, it's right now. It's obviously the Ravens and the Chiefs are like the top two teams, and then the Bengals are like right there with them. But the Bills have surely fallen off. They've not looked great. they've been
Oh, they're not the
average at
same team
best.
anymore.
Well,
They're
they're
not the same.
injured. They're injured too, so like their defense just is not good, and their offense is just Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Like who else? I mean, they have Gabe Davis, but he got one target yesterday and didn't do anything. I guess he couldn't get open, or I don't know what happened there, but the game when they played Tampa Bay on Thursday night, Gabe Davis got like 8 catches for like 100 something yards, and they look great that game. But now they don't show up against the great teams except for the Dolphins for some reason. The Bills are just like mediocre. They're not top tier. They're a playoff team for sure, but like they're not like they don't go past the second round anymore. That's what it feels like now. Like they're that type of team.
Oh no, they
Oh,
had their
and
chance to make. They had their chance to make the Super Bowl before, and they sadly couldn't take advantage of it. And that's pretty much the decline.
I guess there's a dark horse too, like the Jags. I forgot to mention them. They're pretty good actually too. I didn't think about that. They aren't too bad. They're like 6 or 7-2. No, 6-2. Yeah. So you got to watch out for them. I mean, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
Got to
they're part
say
of that
that.
group that you were discussing before we started recording, the Chiefs, Ravens, and Bengals. And also include the
Yeah,
Jaguars.
there's not much any other good teams besides those, and well, the Dolphins obviously, but they they're not top. They're just got a good offense. They don't have no defense. Like it's obvious they can't show up against the good teams. They've lost to the Eagles, the Chiefs, and then they lost to the Bills. So all three of their losses have been against great teams, and they can't beat them. It just shows when they play great teams, they don't show up.
Mhm. The Chiefs, Ravens, and Bengals that should be Super Bowl contender.
I still think it's the Chiefs, no matter what.
Correct.
They have
Yeah.
to be. They have to be taken down. I have to see it to believe it. That's my mentality with that. Like, I think the Ravens and Bengals are right there, but I'm just saying that like the Chiefs are just the monster that you can't take down. Even though they lost to the Broncos, which was a fluke, they're really tough to beat, no matter where you play them. Mahomes gives us it all every Sunday, so you gotta watch out.
I agree
But
with you.
yeah, do you have any thoughts on the Cowboys Eagles game, man? Like, did you watch any of that?
No, I didn't see the game, but
Eagles won last. Like I think they won 28-23 was the score, and they just pushed it out. Like they won it last like couple minutes. Like the Cowboys had hope, and then they lost their hope last minute. Like it was a close game, but Eagles are just more superior.
yeah. I mean, the Cowboys are not a bad team. They've been showing it.
They're they're a playoff team for sure. They're just not a great playoff team. They're like middle of the pack playoff team. They're like a 5 seed in the playoffs this year. They'll be
Yeah. As
like
much
they'll
as we make fun of them, but they're still a good contender team.
yeah they're gonna
Obviously,
probably play the NFC South the first round of the year, like the 4 versus 5. Because it's probably gonna be the Saints versus them or Falcons, which they could beat. Both those teams suck, or like are mid kind of. It just shows how weak the NFC is. Besides like 3 or 4 teams, there's not much depth there.
yeah.
Any any other thoughts on the football this week?
No.
No.
You'll see next week on my Chargers against the Lions. Another interesting games that we should tune in. 49ers and Jaguars.
That would be a good game.
Yeah.
That's for sure. The worst game of the week will be the Thursday night game, which is like pretty common. Bears Panthers. Like who cares?
Your Seattle against Washington.
Blowout. Seattle would kill them. Packers Steelers. Who cares about that? The Browns Ravens game will be a game to watch for too. If you think about that, that's a good game. There's a lot of bad games next week.
Geo's teams. Packers against Steelers.
Steelers will win
Yeah.
easily. And then the Jets play the Raiders. Like that should be a dub for the
Ah,
Jets. I don't know, man. The Broncos playing the Bills. That might be a close game.
might be a good game actually.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to end up being a great game. Just because the Bills have just not been able to show up. But yeah, I mean, week 10, there's just a bunch of mediocre games and two or three great games, I want to say. But other than that, like, the week's going to be a boring week. I'm not going to lie to you. I just don't care to watch any of those games except for like the Niners Jags and maybe Saints Vikings will be a decent game. And also your team, the Chargers Lions. Like, all those other games are just pure shit. I think the Bengals would handle their business against the Texans.
Mhm.
That's definitely something that's going to happen. But anyways,
Let's go to
now
the
that
NBA. Let's go to Clippers.
yeah, Clippers, man, James Harden, first game back, not first game back, first game playing for the Clippers. He looked average, 17 points. Could have done a little more, but I think he only got 31 minutes, so I guess he didn't get too many shots. I only saw he was 6 for 9, which is not bad. Like if he got more touches, maybe he could do more, but then again, he has more chances to miss as well. But like I see the Clippers as a 5 seed this year now that they got James Harden, like 5 or 6 somewhere around there. They're better than the Lakers right now, just because the Lakers they lost Anthony Davis for it seems like a little bit.
Well,
We'll see.
now they're worse than the Clippers. But last week's game, you said the Clippers were going to beat the Lakers. But that didn't happen, John.
Oh, it was close. I'll tell you that. There was no James Harden though either. They had they were shorthanded because they traded away their pieces. Remember, so they didn't have everybody playing. So their depth was in question that night. I think they only ran out 10
But
players
we
that night.
agree, James Harden's not going to do much for the team, for the
No, no, no,
Clippers.
no. They'll make it to the first or second round of the playoffs, but that's it. They aren't going to go past it. They're not seeing a conference finals. Like the Clippers and a conference finals is unheard of because it doesn't happen. It's only happened once, and their star player got hurt. They play the Suns in
I
the
mean,
Western Conference Finals. Remember with Paul George because Kawhi got hurt when they beat was it the Jazz in the second round? This was a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and
no, the
Kawhi
Clippers are.
tore his. Yeah, they beat the Jazz the second round with Donovan Mitchell. This was 2 or 3 years ago, and the Clippers lost in 6 games to the Suns to Kevin Durant and Chris Paul. That's the year the Suns went to the finals. Remember? And they lost to the Bucks. That's what
Oh my
happened.
God, I forgot about this. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only time the Clippers have made it to the conference finals in their history.
I was still
And
believing that they haven't made it to the conference finals. I completely forgot about that game. Wow.
yeah, that was history for the Clippers, even though they didn't. They were huge underdogs because they had only Paul George and a bunch of role players. But they handled business somewhat, the Clippers that year. But they're not serious this year. Like, there's too many other good teams, like the Nuggets, all these other teams. Like, what are they? Like, freaking Mavericks are better than the Clippers, I want to say. Got Kyrie and Luca. Even though nobody talks about them, but they should deserve more respect. If Kyrie can play, because that's the question. But there's a bunch of good teams. Like the NBA Western Conference is loaded. Like probably right now, like the most terrible team right now that started off the season, it seems like the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't think they've won a game yet. I think they've lost. I think they're 0-6 or 1-5. I can't remember. But they have not been good. Like because John Morant's suspended right now, so it's just Desmond Bain and a bunch of other pieces. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that, David.
A little bit. Right
And
now, going through the news of Anthony Davis,
his hip spasms,
hip spasms. The Lakers lost. We didn't mention, but the Lakers lost to the Miami Heat, 108 to 107.
which is embarrassing. Shouldn't have lost. 1 point, like you can't pull it out, LeBron. Pull out some magic. Come on, man.
How much can you do? Um,
He's got
oh,
more help.
one, I think the Lakers they'll get better by the end of the season. Like always, they
They're going to
lose.
be in the play-in again, though. That's my prediction.
Oh, yeah,
It's, they're not going to be a top 6 team in the West. Now that Anthony Davis isn't healthy, they're like every year before the season starts, we always say like, so if the Lakers are fully healthy, they're a top 3 team in the Western Conference. Never going to happen with Anthony Davis on your team. The man can't stay healthy. Sure, he's got the talent, but you can't see him on the court ever.
no,
It's
he's a good player,
just
but I feel that they should have already decide to look somewhere else, look for another
It's
player.
dumb they made that. They should have tried to get Lillard, not freaking Anthony Davis. I would have gotten Dame instead.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you think of the new play-in, not play-in tournament, but like that new tournament thing that they just started this week? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm confused. Like, what is the point? Like, why why do they do this? I mean, I just
Well, I think it's because they want to stop teams from load managing, so that way, because they put money as an incentive for the players to play, so the winner gets 500 grand for each player, like the whole team. Each player gets 500K. So they're trying to incentivize every team to play their team's players, so that way they can actually make the games competitive and not just low manage and try to save their players for the postseason because they want every game to matter. They want every game to feel like a playoff atmosphere.
you might know more than me, but so if they win a game, will this count towards their record of the regular
Yeah, the
season?
regular season. The only one that doesn't count is a championship game. But they have 80 games scheduled. So there's 2 games they held off. It's for the quarterfinals and the semifinals for the play game tournament. So those games will be added to their schedule once the teams win. But if if teams like get eliminated earlier, that I've been told that they're just going to add other games to the schedule as the thing finishes. But I think it's definitely different. I mean, they're trying new things for sure. I don't hate it or love it, honestly. It's just whatever for me.
We'll see how it works out first. But those type of guys, like, if it's not broken, why fix it?
Well, the Clippers
They re-
got screwed the most because they have the hardest teams in their bracket. The Lakers have an easiest one. They only have, I think, the Mavericks as a good team in their bracket.
well, in the Lakers group, it's Memphis, Phoenix, the Lakers, Jazz, and Trailblazers.
Yeah, like Blazers and Jazz suck. And then I guess Phoenix is the only good team because Memphis has been god awful.
Yeah. The Clippers are with the Nuggets, the toughest team of the entire league.
I'm telling you, man,
Pelicans,
they have a tough one.
yeah. Mavericks and Rockets.
Pelicans, Nuggets, and Mavericks all are good. The only bad team is the Rockets.
Mhm.
And another one is like the Spurs. I think it's was it not Pelicans, but Spurs, Thunder, Timberwolves. I don't know what the last team was, but it doesn't matter. I just know that one's the weakest one. But any other thoughts on it, man? Like,
So as I was mentioning, I still I don't get why they would do this, but as you're saying, load management. But then they make up the rule. Then they did the rule where players cannot intentionally sit out of games or they get fined, right?
yeah, they get fined, but they have to have a valid excuse
Mhm.
to be out of the game, like a leg injury or something, like Kawhi did. Kawhi would say like, "Oh, I have MCL injuries every day," but you know what I mean, right? Like he would
Yeah,
have some sort of excuse to be out, which kind of sucked because you wanted to see the best teams have the best players go off against each other with the competition they have. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean that's that for basketball right now. But David, you have a quiz for me, right? Like you said, you got 3
yeah.
questions for me.
But before we jump to the quiz, when are the Dodgers signing Otani? Nothing has
It's not.
happened yet.
It's gonna happen in January or February when he gets all his. They're not gonna do it during the holidays. They never usually do the big signings. It usually happens like mid January or like right before the season starts. It'll be like late February max, like at the latest. That's my prediction. Like it's not happening during November or December. It's just too early.
Yeah, and there hasn't been a word on a new manager for the Angels, right?
Dude, that's not gonna happen until January either. I'm feeling
Same
like
thing.
yeah, Angels are just gonna start the year for scratch and probably wait till the new year hits and then they'll look for a manager. They're not
Like,
incentivized to look for someone right now because they're organization screwed up.
in January.
Yeah, like mid January, you'll see something. Hopefully, I'm wrong, but we'll see. I mean, it'd be better to get a manager earlier, but it is what it is, right? I mean, the Dodgers
Yeah.
should have fired their manager because they suck.
Actually, speaking of Dave Roberts, I forgot which website was that he should have been at least a contender for manager of the year for the regular
There's no
season.
way. He
For the
sucked.
regular season.
Nah, I don't believe it. He shouldn't be. I mean, I believe you were saying that, but I'm just saying no. Like, I don't think he should. He was did not do a good enough job. There's a lot better managers. Like the D-backs manager should be manager of the year.
Yeah, what he did.
That's who I think should win.
So we'll see on the future of the. I still believe that the Lakers they'll be a contender by the end of the year. But I don't think they should continue with Anthony Davis. This should be his final season. But it's always the same thing. He gets injured, and so it always has to be LeBron carrying the team.
Yeah, he's like 40 now, almost. LeBron.
He's 38.
Yeah,
And
he's getting close.
yeah,
He can't do this too much longer, all by himself.
yeah.
He's got like another
Oh,
year left.
mhm. And one last thing before we jump to the quiz. You said something about USC right before we started recording.
Yeah, the USC college basketball team just started this week, and LeBron's kid, Bronny James, is predicted to be back by the end of the month, possibly, just because. Well, it's based on his if he gets clearance from his doctor, but that's what he was saying. I predict I'll be back by the end of the month, but it could be pushed back into December. But if he's back, we'll see. I mean, USC could be a dark horse in college basketball.
Mhm.
I mean, I haven't really paid attention too much of what Bronny does on the court because I haven't seen his game in person. But I have a feeling he's not too shabby if he can play for USC.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
So she had that scare earlier this year with the cardiac arrest.
yeah, having a heart attack at that age, due to
Yeah.
18. I can't imagine that happening to me.
Mhm.
I'd feel like life wouldn't be the same.
I'll probably be rethinking about my life and
Yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely
All right.
scary.
Yep. All right, John. Let's wrap this up with the quiz. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. Since Gio's not part of this, I'm gonna cut it up to 3 questions only.
Okay.
Gio, hopefully you feel better. Hi. All right. First question. Baseball. So this last World Series between the Rangers and the Diamondbacks was the lowest rated World Series on average. I had an average of 4.7 on the scale. Now, John,
Okay.
which World Series had the highest rated ever? Is A, the 1978 World Series between the Yankees and Dodgers? B, 1991 between the Twins and Braves? Or C, 2017 between the Astros and Dodgers?
Astros, Dodgers.
So you stick with that one?
Yeah, let's do it.
John, you're wrong. It's 1978 between the Yankees
How?
and
No, there
Dodgers.
was no TVs for everybody then.
1978, there was already TVs.
Yeah, but not everyone had one.
It was an average of 32.8.
I guess. I mean, I guess because it's older people then, but like you'd think because now technology's more advanced.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
And
mean,
it's the Yankees and the Dodgers. I mean, they're the two most popular teams. So
I didn't think it was that one because that was too old too. I thought it had to be in the 2000s, like 2007, 2004, one of those.
yep. All right. So let's go with the second one. So we just had the Chargers versus the Jets. The Chargers won the Jets, 27-6. How many times have the Chargers faced the Jets, John, in their history?
I don't know. What's for the options?
All right. Want me to give you the options, or you want to guess to see which ones you're closest to?
I definitely can't guess because I don't know too much about those two
Okay, I'll give
teams.
you the choices then. Is A 31 times, B 39, or C 42?
39.
Lock it in.
Yeah, let's lock it in.
You're correct, John. They
I had a
played
feeling it
39
was that.
times. The Chargers won 24 times. Jets won 14. They have one tie. Already.
That's good.
Yeah.
The Chargers are dominating one team at least.
Mhm. Last and final question. Basketball is pretty much their second week of coming back. Um, is about the Lakers, John. We'll see how much you know about the facts about the Lakers.
All right, let's do it.
What year were the Lakers founded?
It's definitely before the 40s.
All right, I'll give you the option. 1947, B 1948, or 1949.
Oh, so it's in the 40s. Okay.
Yeah. 47,
Um,
48, or 49.
let's go 49.
Lock it in.
Yeah,
John is 1947.
that was my second guess. I knew it was in 48.
Mhm. That was when the Minneapolis Lakers were formed. I'm sure you knew about that. They were from
Yeah,
Minneapolis,
and they came to LA after to
in
Inglewood
LA, I
Forum.
believe. Came in LA, I believe, in the late 60s, somewhere around
Mm-hmm.
there.
When Jerry West was on the team.
Jerry was Mr. Clutch. The logo of the NBA was part of the team.
Yeah.
Which only got 1 out of 3. They're still okay. Remember, the grade doesn't count.
No.
We're done with school.
Yeah. I mean, thank God.
Yeah.
One less stress thing to worry about.
Yep. Well, John, it's been a pleasure like always. This episode of Selling Thoughts. This is episode 33. No, 34.
34.
34.
Well, I mean, we're getting almost to 50. We're getting
Yeah,
there. It's
without a
end
doubt.
of the year almost too.
Hmm.
Holidays coming up, so
Yeah.
we'll see what
Christmas
happens.
decorations in the
Halloween is
neighborhoods.
over, thank God.
Did you dress up as for Halloween?
I was on working at the station.
So you were an Amazon driver.
I was an Amazon manager.
I'm sorry. Manager.
Yeah, not driver, man. I was at the desk eating crappy candy, which is why I'm probably sick right now. Did it to myself.
For all our viewers, leave your comment section down below to see what got John sick.
You don't want to know. But I mean, it's another great episode, man.
Yeah.
We got Geo coming on next week, most likely.
Hopefully he doesn't flake again. Or doesn't call out again.
Yeah, he's gonna tap out.
I don't know what's with you guys getting sick. I have a strong immune system. I don't get sick. I just get tired. That's why I deserve vacation. I don't get paid enough for this. I don't get paid enough for this.
I don't know. I work long days, but you do too. But my job's physical, so like my body gets worn out, and then I go to the gym. On top of that, so I probably wear myself out too much. Too much cardio. But
Too much weights. Too much weights.
it's a combination, man, of both. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us on Silent Thoughts. We'll catch you next week. See you later.
Peace.